A few days ago, the first performer heard at the 2026 World Cup final wasn't Madonna, Shakira, or Justin Bieber. It was a 21-year-old from Cincinnati who 6 years earlier had been screaming at NBA 2K in front of two viewers. IShowSpeed walked onto the pitch at MetLife Stadium and performed World Cup Champions, a fan-made hype song he'd released a month earlier that went so viral online that FIFA added it to the tournament's official soundtrack. Spain and Argentina were about to walk out. 82,000 people inside the stadium with the ceremony broadcast around the world. The unbelievable part isn't that he made it there, it's that when the internet first discovered him, plenty of people dismissed him as another loud teenager whose 15 minutes would disappear as quickly as they arrived. Instead, he became one of the most watched young people on Earth. And weirdly, watching it happen has been one of the more satisfying stories the internet has produced in a long time. So let me actually walk you through it. 2 viewers and a lot of screaming. Darren Jason Watkins Jr. was born January 21st, 2005, and grew up in Bond Hill, a working-class neighborhood on Cincinnati's north side. His parents split when he was young. He was raised mostly by his mother, Tiffany. He made a YouTube account in March 2016, when he was 11, and started live streaming NBA 2K and Fortnite in late 2017, by his own account, to about 2 viewers a night. For roughly 3 years, that's where he stayed. Loud kid, small audience, no hint anything was going to change. Then, in 2020, one of his rage clips got posted to TikTok, and then another. Fans started clipping every over-the-top reaction he had, screaming at Fortnite, barking at the camera, knocking his mic over, and the format hit the TikTok algorithm at exactly the right moment. In April 2021, he crossed 100,000 YouTube subscribers. 2 months later, 1 million. He was streaming so much, so loudly from his bedroom, that reporting from the period says it created real friction at home. Around this stretch, he ended up moving from Cincinnati to Detroit to live with his father, Darren Sr., and eventually transferred to Ohio Digital Learning School, so his schedule could bend around streaming instead of the other way around. When the joke stopped being harmless, in December 2021, when he was 16, Speed appeared on Aiden Ross's Twitch dating show and made sexually threatening comments toward the model Ash Kosh. Twitch banned him indefinitely under its sexual coercion and intimidation policy. Not for a week, not for a month, indefinitely. Then, only months later, another old clip surfaced. This one showing him verbally attacking a female Valorant player. Riot Games permanently banned him from its titles. Speed apologized, calling his behavior wrong, stupid, and immature. It wasn't one isolated mistake. A pattern had formed. And if he'd kept going down that path, his career risked being permanently defined by it. He didn't. He kept streaming on YouTube, he kept getting bigger, and more importantly, the behavior itself started to change. The angry clips toward women stopped being part of the format. He started stopping his own streams when fans got hurt or overwhelmed instead of leaning into the chaos for content. When crowds got out of hand overseas, he began actively de-escalating them on camera rather than fueling the noise. In October 2023, after nearly 2 years, Twitch quietly reinstated him. I bring this up because the whole satisfying rise framing collapses if you skip it. He didn't rise as an innocent kid. He rose as a kid who publicly did something bad, publicly owned it, publicly changed how he behaved, and then instead of leaning into a persecution narrative the way a lot of the influencer economy does, just kept working. That's the part that matters. That's where the story actually starts to become one worth telling. The football obsession. Somewhere in the middle of all this, football became the thing. Speed's Cristiano Ronaldo fixation stopped being a bit and started being the whole identity. He recreated Ronaldo's old ads, wore Portugal jerseys constantly, chased Ronaldo across continents for over a year. Manchester United games where Ronaldo wasn't in the squad, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar where the meeting didn't happen. Al Nasser matches in Saudi Arabia where he got close, but not close enough. He kept missing him, kept crying about it on stream, And then, in June 2023, at the Estadio da Luz in Lisbon, he waited in the car park after Portugal beat Bosnia 3-0 in a Euro 2024 qualifier. A car pulled up. Ronaldo got out and walked over to him. Speed dropped to the ground, crying. Ronaldo's sister, Elma, posted the clip to her Instagram, celebrating the moment publicly. That was the point the joke became real. Speed wasn't a streamer who liked football anymore. He was a football figure who happened to stream, leaving the bedroom. By the time he finally met Ronaldo, Speed's content was already escaping the bedroom. After that, the world increasingly became his studio. Brazil in January 2024, Rio, the favelas meeting Ronaldo Nazário. The Euros in mid-2024, where he rented a house in Germany to follow Portugal in person, and when they went out to France on penalties in the quarterfinals, cried so hard on stream, he cut his hand smashing a table and posted the injury with the caption, "Goodbye, Ronaldo." Southeast Asia later in 2024, where his Indonesia stream reportedly hit over 1 million concurrent viewers, one of the largest single live streams anyone had done on YouTube. In spring 2025, he did the trip that shifted the whole scale of what he was doing, a roughly 2-week run through mainland China, Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, Chongqing, Chengdu, Changsha, plus a stop in Hong Kong. Chinese officials and state media publicly praised the streams as an unexpected form of cultural exchange between ordinary Chinese and American audiences. That's a Egypt, Rwanda, Namibia, and more. He attended the Africa Cup of Nations final in Morocco. Streamed from markets, townships, stadiums, and palaces. Guerrilla trekked in Rwanda. Visited Gorée Island in Senegal, where the diaspora reacted emotionally to the footage of him standing at the door through which enslaved Africans were shipped west. On January 21, 2026, in Lagos, on his 21st birthday, he crossed 50 million YouTube subscribers live on stream, in front of Nigerian fans. In Ghana, he took a DNA test on camera and traced his ancestry to the country. He said, "Live, I am back home. There ain't no better feeling." Within days, Ghana's foreign minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa announced that the government had approved the issuance of a Ghanaian passport to Speed, describing him as a worthy ambassador. The reason this hit so hard is that African countries have spent decades watching Western media flatten them into a single word: poverty. Speed's streams did the opposite. Ordinary people showed up as individuals with jobs and jokes and phones. Government officials said publicly that his visits helped their tourism and diaspora outreach in ways their own budgets couldn't touch. Then he ended the tour by announcing a donation initiative that turned into a real, ongoing structure, a foundation partnering with the Football for Good network Common Goal to fund community soccer programs across the continent. The generosity that keeps interrupting the content. There's a category of viral clip Speed keeps generating that separates him from most large streamers. In St. Lucia, during a stream, a kid walked up to him holding an old Nokia phone and explained his mother was near homelessness. Speed asked if he was telling the truth, looked at him, and handed him enough cash for a new phone. The kid broke down crying on the sidewalk. In Malaysia, a fan had a panic attack in the middle of a crowded meet. Speed stopped the stream and stayed with the fan until it passed. That moment is a small one, but it's the clearest evidence of the change from 2021. The version of Speed, who got permanently banned for aggression toward a woman on camera, is now the version who cuts his own stream to protect a stranger in distress. That distance is the whole point. What makes moments like these land isn't that Speed is a saint. It's that they interrupt the stream instead of becoming the stream. There's no dedicated thumbnail. No, I gave a stranger $10,000 title card. The camera happens to be on because the camera is always on, but the moment itself doesn't get built into a content package around it. Why the Rise actually holds together. If you strip everything down, 3 things are doing the work. The first is that Speed never let global fame make him emotionally distant. Watching his stream still feels like watching a friend. The same rage, the same crying, the same barking at 50 million subscribers that he had at 50,000. Most creators emotionally armor up as they scale. He never did. That's the parasocial engine that keeps everything else running. The second is football. Anchoring his career to Cristiano Ronaldo, the largest fandom in the largest sport on earth, gave him a universal language. In China, they knew who he was because of Ronaldo. In Africa, they knew who he was because of Ronaldo. That's a shortcut, basically, no American gaming streamer had access to before him. The third is that he goes places American streamers usually don't. India, Africa, mainland China, Southeast Asia. And he doesn't go there to observe. He goes there to be embarrassed trying to learn the dance, to taste the food and either love it or make a face, to actually be a tourist in the least ironic way possible. Countries used to being covered by Western media suddenly got covered by a 21-year-old who was just having fun, which is why governments in those places started treating him with real seriousness. Where the story is now. So here's where we are. 3 days ago, the 2026 World Cup final closed with a Cincinnati kid on the pitch performing an unofficial anthem that FIFA had to officially embrace. 2 weeks before that, he had broken down crying on stream after Spain eliminated Portugal in the round of 16, likely the final World Cup appearance of the man Speed had spent years chasing across the planet. He'd been preparing to witness that moment for most of his adult life. And when it came in exactly the way he'd feared. Too early, and without the trophy. The reason FIFA had him on the pitch at all is that his song became too big for them to keep at arm's length. Speed's rise is satisfying in a way most internet fame stories aren't. There's no scam funnel under it, no fake persecution narrative, no premium course selling teenagers the fantasy of escaping their lives. Just a kid who grew up publicly, messed up publicly, apologized publicly, and kept trying. 6 years ago, he was screaming about football in front of 2 viewers. 3 days ago, he stood on football's biggest stage while the entire world watched. IShowSpeed didn't simply become too big for FIFA to ignore. He loved the sport loudly enough for long enough that eventually the sport made room for him.